Best 3 out of 5 tie-break sets. Querrey to get us started. I've had a chance to see Kim play quite a bit of tennis over the years, and I think that single-handed backhand is a shot that he can do some damage with. The forehand, he holds back a little bit on it, doesn't quite get the racket head acceleration. We'll see if Querrey really tries to attack the forehand side or not.
Well, pretty good start for this, and I have one question right from the get-go. As far as Kim's concerned, look how far he is behind that baseline, and he manages to come up with a couple of good passing shots, moved in, took that one in the air. So love 30 opening game, but he's nearly back there with the advertising signs at the back of the court.
And that's the serve you want to hit against someone when they're that far back, right?
Break it out wide, and that one didn't have to be that wide. It wasn't that wide, and he still got the ace. We did this match the other day, or did a match the other day with Sam Querrey in the first round, and noted there that under the gun when he was in trouble, the first serve got him back on track. Down love 30 here, 2 big serves, 30 all.
That was the match against the American Michael Yanni. So good opportunity here for Kim.
Querrey's got to be very confident. They've only played once before, and that was just a few months ago, and it was on grass. Quarterfinals in Newport, Hall of Fame tournament. Another good first serve, gets it to Deuce.
Will the fact that they played on grass have any impact in terms of this match?
Well, the fact that Querrey won it, certainly. You know, he goes in knowing he's only seen him once on doesn't matter what surface, but he had a win, and he's got to feel more confident in his ability here with his form coming into the US Open. Querrey, and shows again there with another ace in exactly the same spot out wide.
So from love 30 down, Querrey serves 4 aces.
Yep.
And he snuffs out a break point, and that's why he's a guy who a lot of people are saying is going to be inside the top 15, if not the top 10, relatively quickly.
Well, we have a theory, the Australians in the old days of playing on a faster surface, you served wide and wide, and you served and volleyed, and you took your chances, and you went to the open court. Through that set there, that first service game, he went wide to the back to the forehand on 2 occasions, wide to the backhand on 2 occasions, and finished up with 4 aces.
15 more.
And what that does, if you get wide and you get it out there, it opens up the court. And if you move in, you can hit the volley, or in this day and age, they let the ball bounce and then attack it.
Kevin Kim has reached the US Open second round for the very first time in his career. This his 6th attempt. We talked about the fact he beat Duty Sella in the opening round. And so he's trying to make the most of an opportunity. Kim advanced to the second round here, ending a 7 first-round loss at majors. So he comes into these big events not feeling particularly confident about his abilities to win. The only other time he got to the second round of a major was back in 2006 on the clay in Roland Garros. So he holds on there. He's played 18 majors throughout his career.
again. He's loved 30 in his opening service game, but come up with 4 aces to get out of it in a roundabout way. Love 30 now again.
So shaky start for Querrey. So in the opening game, the serve got him out of trouble. Now it's going to have to do it again for him.
And not a confident start, and we've said how confident he's looked because of his form coming in here. That's not a good game there. Loses his serve to Love.
So there's the first break. Kevin Kim. Now we'll try to consolidate. And this is Kevin Kim, a man primarily known as a person who competes in challengers. He's got a break advantage now, trying to consolidate against Sam Querrey.
15 more.
Another fabulous day here. Last weekend when they had that depression come through, bad weather, and cleared out on Sunday, and conditions have been perfect. I think this is probably the warmest day so far. Yesterday the temperature got up there a little bit, but not a cloud in the sky once more here in New York. Perfect conditions for the players.
Well, Kevin Kim is one of those guys that I refer to as somewhat of a lightweight, middleweight, because he doesn't have any really big shots to knock you off the court. Not like a Sam Querrey with the big serve and the big ground strokes. But if he's pretty consistent, so if he catches you on a bad day,
you've got to beat him. Yeah, he's not one of those fellas. We'll wait and see how many errors he does make. It's a little bit like the match we did yesterday, or I did with Juan Martin Del Potro, 6'6" against
Juan
Monaco, and the same thing here. It's like a David Goliath confrontation here. Little man against a very quick little man against a very tall and talented big man.
Kim at 5 feet 11 inches. Sam Querrey 6'6". Well, this is the problem for Kim. When you break Querrey's serve, you must have the ability to consolidate, because Querrey relies so much on that part of his game. But if you can't transition it or consolidate, it's, well, as you say, it's not a break until you hold your own serve.
Yeah, exactly.
So the momentum that he established is gone, and it didn't take very long. So Querrey breaks right back. We're 2-all.
That's a tough situation for Kevin Kim. He gets an early break and you think, well, gee, this is good, and I haven't done too well here, and suddenly I've got a service break against the man that's the form horse at the moment, and a little bit of a lapse in concentration, and suddenly you're back to square one. It's all even again.
Remember that USOpen.org is the exclusive online home for point-by-point live scoring and real-time draws. Visit the official tournament website for the interactive draw and real-time statistics. The official tournament website, USOpen.org. You'll get to hear Fred Stolle doing some highlights of some matches there if you get fortunate. That's not bad.
Pretty impressive forehand, that one, from deep behind the baseline. It's where Kim makes this shot from. He's 6-8 feet behind the baseline.
Well, that's more like it for Querrey. So the man who now resides in Santa Monica, California, has got back on top. He leads 3-2. Well, another glorious day here in New York City. And for Kevin Kim, he's hoping his winning streak will continue. Kim has never advanced beyond the quarterfinals at tour level. He did so in 2004 in Beijing and 2005 in Delray Beach.
Boy, that's a long time ago.
And he's bidding to win back-to-back matches at tour level for the second time in 2009. So not a very consistent performer. And that other time was the one you mentioned when he met Querrey in Newport.
Now, this is a good experience for him on a day like today. He's at the US Open. He's at the Armstrong Arena. Seats about 10,000 folks. He hasn't played in a house like this before, and it's a good experience. And he's doing quite well. We mentioned had the early break, but has let that slip. But it's on serve now, 30-15.
Kim's parents emigrated to the USA from Seoul, Korea back in the 60s, and both unfortunately work in the real estate business in California. His father served as a California State Athletic Commissioner.
Well, that's well disguised. He looked as though he was going to move forward and just came deftly underneath the ball. Here, watch this here, and he cuts underneath it. He looks as though he's going to come to the net, slices sideways and plays the drop shot and catches Querrey very much by surprise.
So Kim able to hold. We're now 3-all. Just 15 minutes on the court. Sam Querrey plays here as a career high ranking of number 22 after reaching 4 finals this summer, winning a second career title in Los Angeles. Reached 3 successive finals in Newport, Indianapolis, and then the win in LA. And the man that he beat in LA will be on our court later this afternoon, Karsten Ball, in that final. Karsten Ball, 4th match on Armstrong today against Novak Djokovic. So that'll be a tough ask for, well, the son of someone that you're quite familiar with, Sid Ball.
Sid Ball. Karsten, his son, is a big lefty. Sid was right-handed. And big things. He's been on a Davis Cup team, played some doubles at a dead rubber in the Davis Cup, Karsten, and hoping for some big things from him. It's a bit of a tough ask today, though, against Djokovic, but it's good experience for the youngster.
So Querrey's able to hold. So the number 2 American, he's now replaced James Blake in that position. Querrey leads 4-3. Kevin Kim serving at 3-4.
6 for 2, please. Thank you. Players over.
Well, Querrey's going to have a look.
15 love.
Kim's holding his own. It's amazing though when you get to a situation like Kim. He's got nothing to lose in a match like this. He's playing against the hottest guy on the tour, not the best guy on the tour, but the hottest, the in-form guy, and he's playing against him. And he's got a good crowd, and it's a different setup for him, and he feels good about himself being out there. And he's playing that way. He's 4-all opening set.
Querrey bidding to make the 3rd round of a slam for the very first time this year. He lost in the 1st round of Australia and Roland Garros, and then the 2nd round at Wimbledon. So as good as his year's been, you know, this is where you make your name at these majors.
Well, his year wasn't any good until after Wimbledon. This is it's the US Open Series. He hadn't done anything before, as you mentioned, in the Grand Slams, hadn't done much at all, and then suddenly after the Grand Slams, the week after, he comes into Newport, which is a grass court event, the week after, and then the rest of the US Open Series, and he's played well.
30-10.
But whether he can sustain that through the end of the season here, and then the big thing is to try and start off afresh at the Australian Open, have some good results there and get some confidence that carries you through to the clay court season, because that's the big problem with the Americans when they go to Europe, compete on the clay.
40-15.
And Querrey also made a coaching change at the beginning of this year. He replaced Grant Doyle with David Nankin. He'd been with Doyle for several years, an Aussie as well. No problems at service game for Sam Querrey. So the American with the 5-4 advantage. So Kevin Kim, who lost in the qualifying here in back-to-back years, now in the 2nd round here in 09, and trying to keep the momentum. It would be the first time he ever reached the 3rd round here at the US Open.
15 love.
Oh, he's not getting, he doesn't have a big serve. His fastest serve's been 125k. That's getting up there for a little fella. Querrey hasn't been much quicker than that, just at 128, but he generates a lot of racket head speed, Kim, off that serve, and Querrey's mishit more balls today than we've seen from him, because he played on this same court in his 1st round match. So that shouldn't be the pace of court. Differs occasionally, it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, Kim's got to be full of confidence right now. He beat Dudi Sell in the opening round. Came into that as a prohibitive underdog, defeating the Israeli 6-3, 0-6, 6-2, 6-2. And I'll tell you, Sell is one of those guys who chases down everything. You got to be playing well to beat him.
Oh, it's beautifully produced backhand, that one. One-hander, you can see the two-fisted boys play that shot. But one-hander, look at the execution. This good follow-through all the way out towards the target. Beautiful to watch.
So the pressure back on the shoulders of Sam Querrey.
5 games old.
Kevin Kim's giving him all he can handle in this opening set.
Well, he's making quite a few unforced errors today in the early going, Sam Querrey.
Yeah, he's already hit 10. And really only 6 winners because he's had 5 aces. But as we saw him do in the opening round against Michael Yanni, when he got in trouble,
The serve got him out of it, yep.
Querrey making Kim pay for that short reply.
40-15.
Right in the middle of the court, and that's the forehand Querrey buries. Game point. That's long. So the number 2 ranking American, Sam Querrey, in the lead once again, 6-5. The opening set.
It's a great thrill for him to be part of a team.
Shame he missed it. He really constructed the point beautifully, had it set up, but he's been having a little bit of trouble early on here with the forehand, the ball sliding off his racket. First double fault for Kim, the man who's known on tour as Special K.
Would you like a nickname, Special K?
Makes you think of pouring a little bit of milk on yourself every morning. Kevin Kim won his first Tour Challenger event back in 2001 in a part of the world I'm familiar with, Burbank, California. That's where Andre Agassi resurrected his career when he was on the way down.
You must have a lot of money to be out there, because a lot of taxes out in California.
Kevin Kim turned pro back in 1997 after his freshman year at UCLA. And previously to that, he was the 1996 USTA National Boys 18s champion. But I'll tell you what, he wasn't becoming a great player at UCLA or winning Tour Challengers, hitting double faults in big games. So now with 2 of them in this game, he's gifted Querrey both points, and that spells trouble for Kim. Speaking of trouble, Elena Dementieva is out of the event. She just lost to another American woman. Melanie Udan from the USA takes Dementieva out. And this is an absolutely horrid game from Kim. 2 double faults and that easy backhand. And that's why you struggle.
That's the difference, you know. As you say, you go through the juniors, you win a lot of matches, and then it happens. You get to a situation like this, and he's played exceptionally well up until this game. And now he saved it with a good first serve. He's not out of it. He's trying to get this one into a tiebreaker in the first set.
You know, as soon as I said his nickname is Special K, there was nothing special going on with his game. Let's see how special he can be to get out of this.
Well, that was a good shot from Querrey. That's a shot that you don't see a lot of these days. And the man coming into the net, rather than go for broke, play that little slider, the little slice down low. And it meant that Kim really had to get down low to that ball and execute a little touch volley. And Querrey was on his way in to track it down. So set point again. Oh, that's well done. That's confidence for you. He anticipated the move over there. It was a big first serve, and he struggles to get it back, but he's on the road. Look, he's moving there, and good anticipation. Keeps the head still, and the racket head does the rest of the work.
Crowd starting to file in at Louis Armstrong Stadium. This is day 4 of our coverage from the 2009 US Open. Alongside Fred Stolle, I'm Doug Adler, and Sam Querrey has taken the opening set in just 35 minutes, 7 games to 5. Couple of service breaks in that opening set. Querrey was broken first, but was able to break back the very next game, which is so important.
Yeah, that was a bad game. Again, that's inexperience from Kim. He's as far as his age is concerned, he's had a lot of experience. He was a good junior, as you mentioned, came through the juniors, but hasn't had a lot of success when he's played against the big boys, and it shows up when you get to 5-all in Grand Slams or any tournament when you're playing fellas that are in the top 20.
So order is restored on the Querrey serve. I think we're going to see a little bit of a different Querrey this set, Fred, than we did in the opening set.
You mean to say you think he's going to win in this set a little easier?
Yeah, and I think he's going to control the unforced errors a little bit more.
I agree.
I think he came out there a little bit shaky.
That's the first set summary. Both players 53% first serves, not real good. Winners. And again, Querrey there, 13 winners. Eventually got his winners above his unforced errors, which were up there early in the match. He just actually did what he had to do, enough to win the opening set. And I agree with my friend Doug here that I think this might be a little different. I think he'd be a little more aggressive and cut down on the errors, and maybe in this set more comfortably. But you don't find he missed that shot too often. The forehand in the first round, I was pretty impressed with the forehand. Today, he's made quite a few unforced errors off that wing. good shot there, and you don't think of Kim as having a big forehand, a winning forehand. He's more of the counter-puncher type, and that's it so often happens when you're in the juniors and you play that way. You win a lot of tournaments because of the unforced errors from your opponents, and as you get into the big leagues, that doesn't work as well for you.
Game Kim.
It's another miss forehand.
Yep. So we're at 1-all.
1 game all, 6-7.
Sam used to be coached by Grant Doyle, an Aussie. Did you know Grant at all?
Oh, not very well, but he came through, I think, when he was a younger fella that my son Sandon knew quite well, but more of a doubles player, I think, than a singles player.
Yeah, Grant and Sam formed a relationship out in Thousand Oaks, California, several years ago, if I'm not mistaken, around 2004, and that worked pretty well.
39.
Until I think that, as you said, it got a little bit stale.
Yep.
And Sam felt he had to take it to the next level. And that's where they went out and found David Nankin.
41.
Nankin, one of those guys who works with the USTA, also a good player himself. And for a while, he also had Alex Reichel working with him in terms of fitness. And that's one part of the Querrey game that's really improved, his movement and his conditioning.
Well, you mentioned he's a tall fellow, and that's one of the weaknesses that the taller men have, is mobility.
Kevin Kim trying to hang in. No pun intended.
That's that forehand again. The footwork on the forehand leaves a little bit to be desired in my book for Querrey. And you talked about his agility and working hard to get that. I think that's an area where you're asking about improvement, is footwork on the forehand, because that's the wing that he hits a lot of winners from. But today, too many unforced errors at this stage. Backhand's very safe shot.
Yeah, it's almost rock solid.
Yeah.
Clean striking of the ball.
But it's okay in a match like this. He's going to get away with making those unforced errors. You know, he didn't play particularly well in the first set, and he comes out and wins at 7-5. And you know, obviously we think he's going to win the match. But as he gets through to the Soderlings and the Davydenko's and so forth, let alone the big boys, that's not going to be good enough.
30-15.
Very, very good point. It's one thing against a guy who's ranked 100 or guys struggling, but when you're playing against guys who have confidence and aren't going to give you freebies under pressure.
hits that with an open stance off the forehand. You can see him throw his head in the air again because he knows the problem. It's the weakness, the forehand. That's again that one falling off the ball, and so he pushed it long.
USOpen.org is your premier source for multimedia coverage of the U.S. Open, including exclusive match highlights and behind-the-scenes coverage throughout the tournament. The official tournament website, USOpen.org. Have you had a chance to go on there, Fred?
I don't know how to switch the computer.
We'll work on that. You'll become savvy by the end of the fortnight.
Not really interested in switching computers on. Quite happy with my life without computers and phones.
I don't know if you're telling the truth with that one, Fred. I've seen you with the new cell phone, BlackBerry.
I carry that around just for looks.
Change is good.
Yeah, that's a well-played point from Kim there. Saw him play as he came through the juniors, about 10 years ago down in the tournament I was involved with down at Delray Beach. And good solid little player there, won some matches. But again, we talked about not having a big shot, but boy, there's another one there on the run. He's making Querrey work here.
And again, he used what you were talking about, not going for the outright pass,
yeah,
but just trying to make the opponent hit a fairly difficult first volley. Well, now he's getting frustrated, is Querrey. So Kim battling.
Yeah, well, that was an indication there. Didn't even go for the big first serve. Threw in a three-quarter pace serve to try and draw the error, and then finished up with another errant forehand. Break points. Now he's got to come up. It's tough when you put yourself under the gun. You've got to come up with that big serve all the time to get yourself out of strife. You only go to the well a certain number of times. If he misses that first serve, then he's in trouble. Now let's see what happens here. He's missed the first serve, and he's down a break point. Found the mark that time on the forehand.
That's all about how you play the big points.
Yep.
Querrey at 1540 hitting his 7th ace, and then the forehand that's really let him down, all of a sudden he's able to pull it in. So many of these guys, they're just money players. They almost need to put themselves in a position of being down to get motivated.
$1 million ought to be enough to motivate Querrey this week, I would think.
But I would even think, you know, going back to your era, old school guys, how many of the players that you played against were, you know, could play fairly average through matches, and then when the pressure was on, took it up a notch? At this level, you almost have to learn to love the pressure and embrace it. Well, what happened there? Well, that was a sort of a funny approach shot play by Querrey, and I think Kim thought the ball was long.
It just hung up there and died into the corner, and he wasn't going to make an attempt to play that, but there was no call, so he's there it is. He was correct.
Well out.
Yeah, the giant line judge, you ought to be able to pick that one, because as you mentioned, the approach didn't have anything on it. It just floated like a wounded duck.
Just serves big. Just that get out of jail free card he keeps using. What a weapon to have in the tool belt when you're in trouble.
Here again, the three-quarter pace kicker, trying to get that one out wide. So that's what he did the first match. He varied his serve quite well.
Kim's staying with him, though. He's frustrating Querrey, and you see very little expression from Kim. I think Kim would be a pretty good poker player. Back to deuce. Oh.
So I think Sam Querrey's gone into this match very confident,
Yeah.
and he's missed a few, and I think that's because of lapse of concentration. That one there, the shot before was a lot easier than that one. He makes that one, and look at this. This is good stuff. Moves in behind it, the stutter step. There's the little angle cross-court volley. Gets his opponent out of position.
Another miss forehand. He hit that one pretty well the other day when he was running around the backhand. He likes to hit that inside-out forehand. Querrey broke into the top 50 for the first time in August of 2007. Again, that serve is just makes the game so easy when you make it.
Advantage Querrey.
Well, he's won his bet again today as far as the shoes are concerned. He's got
Number 8.
number 8 with orange tennis shoes. I think they're orange.
Well, whatever color the shoes are, Querrey has a set and a 3-2 advantage.
That one he fell totally off that and had nothing on the ball. When you fall backwards and hit those shots, they can go anywhere. Still 30-15, but he's just going to hang in there as he's doing. And you know, if Sam Querrey, if he gets a little bit complacent, makes a couple of errors, then maybe Kim can sneak a set in here. Then we have a tennis match. Well, that was not a good approach shot. If we have a look at the replay, you can see why. There he is. He's out of camera and he goes down the middle of the court. It's impossible for him to get over and cover that. Querrey created the angle, but he created the angle with plenty of time and just too much room.
So another game in which Kim was in control. Now he's fighting to stay in it. But like Querrey did to him, turnabout is fair play. And for Kevin Kim, the 4th ace of the match. And it's not about how many of them you hit. Let's make that very clear. Querrey's certainly going to hit more than Kim, but it's about when you get them. So here's a game point. Oh yeah, sweet. Backhand's been pretty good this match.
Yeah, no, he's shown us that one on 3 or 4 occasions. You can't hit it any better than that. And it's 3-all, so he's in there.
And one thing that Kim's doing pretty well in this match is he's keeping the winners to unforced errors ratio pretty tidy. Sam Querrey turned pro back in 2006. After electing to not go to college. He was being pursued. He actually signed a letter of intent to go on the opposite side of town of Kevin Kim.
To say he signed a letter of intent and didn't honor his
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, that happens quite a bit in America with college sports, particularly with someone like Querrey when you decide to turn pro instead. But USC thought they had him in the bag, and with him they thought that they would have a national championship team.
You wouldn't do anything like that, though, would you?
Well, I probably never get the opportunity to make that choice. I knew it really set off the SC coach, because Sam Querrey was being pursued by so many different colleges.
Yeah. Well, I think he made the right choice. Also, you know, I'm just a believer, unfortunately, nowadays, as it's changed over the years, if you do a full term at college over here now, you don't have much of a chance of becoming a professional tennis player.
So Querrey chose not to go to college, elected to turn pro, and seems like the right decision's been made. He's now the 22nd best player in the world, and he leads by a set and 4-3.
Let me grab, no, where did he go to?
He went to Stanford, but that was just before that. Another player from Stanford, I'll think of it.
4-3 now, Kim serving. He's the one that's been behind in this set. He's serving, every time he serves, he's serving to play catch up. But it just goes to show now in professional sports, particularly tennis, how young the players are. I was watching a replay of the '89 classic matches with Pete Sampras playing Mats Wilander. Mats was seeded number 4, and Pete played him in the second round, I think, and beat him. And have a look at Sampras then. It was just so. You looked at your kid and you thought, well, he's still in high school. He was a little older than that, though, but I think he was about 19.
30-15.
And of course, then he goes on to be number 1 in the world 6 years in a row. Well, he's still in front, 30-15. He's certainly making Querrey earn his money today. Again, I would hope his coach give him a bit of a look at the tapes of this match, just to show him the different ways, the errant ways that he's hitting that forehand. Sometimes the footwork's not there, sometimes the body weight's going the wrong way. He's got to get some consistency in that shot as he gets to be a better player.
Well, that's good defensive skills, though, from Querrey. A couple of years ago, he wouldn't have been able to get to that ball. You saw him use that squash shot that we've seen Federer use over the last 4 or 5 years so effectively when he's been on the defensive.
They all use that shot now, don't they?
Yep. Still a game point, though, for Kim. Oh, it's a good, solid volley. You saw him keep moving forward, taking that ball while it was above the height of the net.
Yeah, this is a good move, good depth on this one, and that's what happens if you go in behind good approach shots. You get the easy volleys like this, and very well executed on the volley. Comes underneath it with a little bit of control, meets the ball out in front.
Well, Querrey's trying to steal this game, but you have to hand it to Kim. When he's been in trouble after blowing a couple leads, his serve has gotten him out of a little bit of trouble. That one 110 miles an hour, but the placement's so good. And when you get the wide one out there, you're able to open up the whole court.
Again, I said the wide one, if you get there, and then it's execution of the next shot. It's just like a serve and volley. It's become, we used to serve and volley in those days, but now the players elect to let that bounce, but the equipment allows you to hit winners. That's one of the reasons the game has changed, because with the wooden rackets you could not hit outright winners from behind the baseline. If you got a floater, you got it back into play and worked the point around again because of the equipment. The wooden frame's a lot heavier than the stuff that they use today.
Advantage Kim.
I guess Prince were the first ones to come out with the oversized rackets.
My favorite racket, Fred.
Yeah, well, they're still the leader in innovation, I think, as far as that goes.
And Querrey's using one of them. He's using the same racket, I believe, that Nikolai Davydenko uses. Well, they were the first ones to really succeed with the oversized frame.
Yep. Well, Querrey certainly would like to get a service break here and put 2 sets on the board.
That was a let. I don't know if you could hear the chair umpire, Tony Nimmons, been a little bit quiet. What's funny is Corley's been hitting the forehand. He's still trying to run around to hit that one.
Yeah. Well, he should. That's the one that he hits balls. He generates the pace, hits winners. But that one ran around that and tried to play it from 6 feet, 8 feet behind the baseline, and was falling away from the shot and barely made the net.
Well, he had good length on a few of the other shots. He's just deciding to pull the trigger a little bit early. You know, he's playing against somebody ranked higher, going for it.
Yep. Well, it's worth a shot. The worst thing can happen happened. He's back to juice. Here's a break point opportunity now. Querrey hasn't had too many of them, and he's converted 2 of the 3 that he's had, which is a pretty good percentage.
Listen how quiet the chair umpire is. I mean, he says almost played the point.
Called a let. That was I guess the automatic machine registers up on the chair umpire. That's a big forehand. Risky one down break point. Yeah, Querrey guessing the wrong way and looking for the off forehand, and he went for the more difficult one, Kim. But he made it.
So by far the longest game of this match, and the most important. Kim not wanting, or not really can afford to go down by a 2-set-to-love deficit. Again, Querrey playing the very intelligent shot, and that was deja vu all over again.
Yep. Well, once you do that and your opponent misses it, you do it again. Why not? Until he can make it, you play that shot. That's a shot that you feel, okay, he's having trouble with that. So if he comes in again, give him the same look.
Got the same result. Well, Querrey guessed right. There was a similar point to that in the first set when Querrey had a set point and he guessed right and hit a passing shot to win the set.
Yeah, but that was off the forehand.
That's right.
Yeah.
Your memory's a lot better than you tell me it is. You said you can't remember anything.
Selective memory. That's what my wife says, isn't it? Selective memory.
That's what they say. And to be a great pro, you need selective memory also, because you got to remember the good and forget the bad.
He tried to play that same shot again, but it was a better forehand from Kim on that occasion.
Advantage, Kim.
Starting to get a little frustrated, our man Sam.
Wow. Well, Querrey wasn't quite sure what to do with that one, and he got burned. Good length on those shots from Kim, because he looked like he was on the defensive.
Oh, he's doing a good job, Kim. We mentioned it. That's that backhand again, and he gets time to get himself set. Look at this, and way behind the baseline. That's not easy to do. Thread the needle like that from that far back. And we talked about that with the wooden racket. That would have been impossible for that with the equipment today. They do it on a very, very consistent basis.
Oh. It's amazing how careers can go in different paths. Sam Querrey was a runner-up at the boys 18 nationals back in 2005, and he lost to Donald Young. And now you look at what's happened with Querrey, who's become a much better player and a top pro, and you look at Donald Young, who's having trouble getting arrested on the pro tour. So many wild cards he was given over so many years, couldn't deliver, and really doesn't have a whole lot of confidence out there.
Well, that's another good volley there. I think that goes to say that, you know, Querrey did it the hard way. Donald Young got a lot of. They threw him to the wolves too early, in my mind, and that's when they were looking for a successor over here. They were worried about when Agassi quit, or who was going to come through, and Roddick was coming along, and Donald Young won the juniors, and they gave him all those wild cards. And I don't think for the first 4 tournaments he won a set.
He didn't actually win a set for the first 11 tournaments that he got a wild card. He was just getting spanked match after match.
So that'll do it for your confidence. But I give Donald Young a lot of credit because he went back to the juniors and came through the juniors again. And then I think he's had a lot more success this second time around, and they've treated it a little differently. But having said that, Sam Querrey did it the right way the first time round. Just went out there and hard work and got through it, and he's delivered the goods. It's only happened the last 12 months, I guess. Wouldn't even be that. There's another big serve. That's the wide and wide. He likes to go out to the backhand side, out wide, and open the court up. Same on the juice court. 5-4, 1 set to love. Get those wild cards, or they can get you these sponsorship dollars. But again, you're getting back to your point. You've got to put the scores on the board.
Right now the score on the board is Querrey with the first set and trying to break to win to go up 2 sets to love, but Kevin Kim's done well to stand in his way out here. And this has been a very tightly contested match. Kim would say that he had chances to win that opening set. Remember, he was broken at 5-6.
I think Sam Querrey's been a little complacent in this match to date. I think he's very confident that he's going to win it, and we are also, and we've sort of not written Kevin Kim off, but you'd think, well, you know, this is Sam Querrey's he's the leader of the pack at the moment, but Kim has hung in there, and he's going to force Querrey to pick it up a notch if he's going to get out of this. That's a great shot there. Again, wide out to the wide and wide. You open up the court, and you've got to be brave enough to go for that second shot.
30-15. So this second set, almost a mirror image of the first set, with the only exception being there haven't been any service breaks as of yet. Uh-oh.
Well, this is what happened in the first set. Only it was 5-all, and he got to the point, and exactly the same thing happened. He threw in a double fault, got himself in trouble, and then two big forehands from Querrey and won the first set.
He's going to challenge that. You could see he flicked the racket toward the chair umpire saying go ahead and challenge it, but I think he's going to be disappointed by this outcome. It's more hope than anything, and you can't take him away with you.
No.
So with that miss, it's now a set point for Querrey. Whoa, he was fortunate there because he thought he had Querrey so far out of position he had to just play the volley in. But then, again, the extra foot speed.
Yep, and that lob from Querrey did not miss by much either. But a good effort from Kim once more.
He averts that set point back to deuce.
That's 3 break point opportunities Querrey's had in this set and hasn't been able to convert. So
game point. Boy, he's made a hash of a bunch of forehands.
oh boy, has he ever today.
So Kim does what he needs to do. The former UCLA Bruin drawing level here at 5-all in the second set.
Did you go to school at UCLA, do you?
No. They were our crosstown rivals.
Oh. Well, why do you keep giving all those guys all this credit?
Well, because, you know, there were so few of them that actually went to college. You know, nowadays, as you said, you know, that was the old days when going to college meant something. Playing for a college and then going into the pros meant something, whether it was UCLA or USC or Stanford. And really, in the last 5 years, there's only one guy, we were trying to think of it, that's actually graduated. I'll tell you who it is after this point. Paul Goldstein, top 100 player.
Yeah, Goldie was a good player.
Recently retired, you know, out of Stanford, and getting an education was something that was quite important to him.
Oh, well, he made 2 or 3 comebacks too, didn't he?
Yep.
Got off the tour and came back, did well, and then a little bit ambitious, that one from Kim.
So, you know, in my era, Fred, you know, whatever it's the 70s, the 80s, that's where guys developed their games. I played with Robert Vanhoff. I'm sure you remember Robert. But Querrey, once again, varying the serve beautifully, 87 miles per hour. And the difference in this set from the first, he's having a lot more ease holding his serve. And he goes up 6-5.
No service breaks in this second set. There were a couple in the first. And Querrey's had a couple of set points in the last service game, but Kim's come back and he's just hanging in there. It'll be interesting to see what happens if it does get into a tie break, because Kim's record in tie breaks is not very good.
Are you being kind, or
No, I'm not being, well, pretty much so, because his career tiebreak record is 110 and lost 24. So
Yeah.
it depends on how kind you want to be.
Yeah, it's not good. Querrey's actually this year is pretty good, 13 and 11, but overall he's below.
Yeah.
He's to the negative.
Not by much, 34 to 36, but he's hoping that he can break serve here and avoid a tie-break situation.
Crowd still funneling in here. Louis Armstrong Stadium. I guess the buzz around the Billie Jean King USTA National Tennis Center is that we've got a close match.
Well, it's either Louis Armstrong, or watch the matches outside, or the match on Arthur Ashe, the women's matches. Not very exciting at this stage.
Kevin Kim trying to serve to take us into a tiebreak. Whoa, a misjudgment, I believe, if that ball was good. Yes, it was. And this was the same juncture of the first set when Kim lost serve. Got to hit that one, don't you? If you're not sure.
Well, it's up in the air. It's a pretty easy one to have a crack at.
And he had Querrey way off the court.
Exactly, with one hand off the racket.
The good news about Kim is he realizes that Querrey's having trouble with that forehand and he's saturating it.
Yeah, he should. Yeah.
Another good first serve.
Well, that's one thing when you're an underdog and you're playing somebody that you're not expected to beat. If they've got a shot that's not working, your job is to try and pound that shot until it gets better. And if it does, then you've got to change your tactics and move it away somewhere else. But don't change a winning strategy.
Ooh. Well, I think the umpire just actually called that score. I thought he called it 40-15, but it is correct on the screen, 30 all. So a half chance here for Querrey. That's sweet.
Yep, very good again. Out wide to the forehand, open up the court and be brave enough to go for the one into the other corner. And if they can hit winners off it, too good.
Game point now for Kim to take us into a tiebreak. That's exactly what he does. So only 5 feet 11 is Kevin Kim, but he's been serving well under pressure.
He's got an opportunity here. If this gets to a set apiece, then it's going to be a different mental game for Sam Querrey, who hasn't had any trouble up until now, and he's been the form horse through the tournaments coming into the US Open. And suddenly, if he's a set all against somebody he is expected to beat comfortably, then it's a different mindset. So here we go in the tiebreak. inside. The forehand once more. Trying to go back there.
So if you're Kim, you just got to find some way to keep getting to the Querrey forehand. And if Querrey's not able to make an adjustment, well, you got a good chance of drawing some errors. One love, mini break. Remember, first to 7, you have to win by 2. Just missed it. Well, Querrey's showing some courage, because even though the forehand has let him down, when he had a look at that second ball, he was not going to not hit a forehand. He made sure to run around. Let's see if he runs around the backhand here on this second serve. Good jammer.
Well, he walked into that, didn't he? Because he was thinking about running around. By the time he decided to play the backhand, it was in his to his left hip. So 1-2 now.
Funny how Kim keeps going for that cross-court forehand. Never seems to want to go up the line with the pass. And even if he makes it, it's become pretty predictable. Some people just stay very set when they try to pass.
Oh, that was a let, yeah.
It was
very
fortunate.
Short serve.
Yeah, that one only 81 miles per hour.
Cat and mouse here. Yeah, well played. Very patient. And again, you mentioned he's had a lot of problems with that forehand, but he set that one up, and that's the tactic that he used. He was patient, going back into the backhand corner on the slice until he got one a little bit short, and then elected to go for the winner.
Well, it's all about playing the big points well, and Kevin Kim's done well in this match, but when he's needed to win points, to take the lead, he hasn't been able to really do so.
No, that one there also, he's hit about 4 or 5 winners off that one backhand, but again, it's the pressure of the moment in the tiebreaker. We mentioned his tiebreak record. He won 10 and lost 24 this year. In 09, he's won 1 and lost 3. So that sort of plays on your mind when you're a top 100 player and you're going in against one of the bigger names or the higher ranked players. You get into a tiebreaker and your mind just goes back to that. You've got to try and forget that sort of stuff, and
Can't play the score.
no.
Got to remember what you did to get here and continue to do it. So Querrey now with the mini break, 4-3. Well, again, electing to go cross court, but good news was he hit a good one. Querrey had to play a defensive volley.
Yeah, good stretch there, but obviously he didn't get anything on it. So 4 all.
This is where you earn your money.
Oh, he didn't do anything with, didn't do much with that approach. He sort of shanked it, but the pressure of the moment puts him ahead 5-4.
Crowd here so sedate.
Well, really, there's not much happening, is there? That's to really get them excited. It's been consistent tennis, but without being top-notch stuff.
Whoa. Well, another good serve put him in position there. So let's see how he plays this on a big point. Thought he almost missed this overhead. 5 all.
Somebody's going to have a set point after this point.
You know, Querrey likes to run around and rip forehands. Let's see if he does it.
That's just a little inexperience and a broken racket now. The rackets bounce pretty good on this surface.
I wouldn't know. I've never thrown one, Fred. Well, Querrey again just putting the ball back in under pressure, letting Kim self-destruct. Here's set point. Got it. So the players will change sides. That was a huge point because the difference between a 2-set to love advantage.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But Querrey sort of went in there, I think, a couple of strokes too early. He'd been patient in a couple of rallies before that, going back into the backhand and waiting for the shorter ball. And on that occasion, elected to go in on the backhand wing. Paid the price. 6 all now. Pretty tight. That last serve, he whacked a big first serve down. I think he felt that that was good enough to win the set.
Wow.
Now, so
only the second of the match, only the first of this set.
Talking to himself, I think he's been a little bit complacent in this match today. Even now, he just looks as though a little lethargic.
Let's see if Kim can make him pay for that.
Yeah.
Not even close on that first serve.
Not going to win it. There you go. It was not a good volley. Kim's foot speed was there. And so from a crap racket, when he missed an easy one, he's evened this match at a set apiece. And this is going to be a tough one now for Sam Querrey to get out of.
You know that.
See the spectators there walking around on Lewis Armstrong Stadium. It's right in the line of vision of the players also. Arthur Ashe Stadium, that walkway is probably another 100, 150 feet further up in the air. And so you don't notice them walking around there. But on Lewis Armstrong, you certainly see all that movement, or you're aware of it.
That's a good approach. And I'll tell you, if you're Kevin Kim right now, you've got to keep your foot on the accelerator. You can't let up just because you think you got a set. Because you know Querrey's going to come out firing. He's upset. Feels like he should have won this match or at least win it convincingly. So you got to take it up.
Well, Kevin Kim, you mentioned if he keeps his mind on the job and his concentration level at its peak, this is, you can't play it any better than that. An open stance forehand right close to the sideline. So Kim's improved his situation as far as winners and unforced errors are concerned.
And that serve has been very good. It's something that you wouldn't particularly expect from him. Maybe an underrated phase or facet of his game.
Well, his first serve percentages for the match is only at 47%, which is not good. But the good thing is when he gets the serve in, he's winning 80%. He's winning 4 out of the 5 points, which tells you that Querrey's not returning that well. And that was the area the other day in his first round match where he was pretty good on the return of serve.
Well, again, Kim going cross court. Querrey knew it, but again, Querrey's hands at the net, not so good when he has a little bit of time. I think that's a phase of his game that he's really going to need to improve, Querrey, for me.
On the volley?
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to run around to serve, but it's another to put it in the court. And he missed that by a country mile. So Kim in a little bit of trouble there, but was able to hold on and keep the momentum. This place starting to fill up. And Fred, anything in particular stand out from that second set?
Look at that second set summary. Kim wins it and he's serving at 41%, and he hits 11 winners. He hits fewer winners and fewer unforced errors. So that's the difference. But Sam Querrey hasn't been in this position for a while, and I'm sure that when he went on court today, he did not think that he would be in a situation like this at the moment at a set apiece. And that forehand has been a shocker today for him. I'd love to know how many forehands he's missed actually. Well, he got away with it, but he played the first half volley from round about the service line. It was not a good shot, this one here. He should have been much further in, but he picks the backhand pass down the line and made a great volley. Good execution on the volley.
Wow. You think Querrey's a little bit tight right now because things aren't really going that easily for him?
No, exactly. No, as I said, he hasn't been in this position for a while against somebody like that. Well, he comes through and wins that series. He's used to playing against Roddick and the top guys going in there, and if you know he's got to keep his concentration level up against those fellas. Then today he hasn't been able to do that, but I don't think he expected he had to do it either.
Well, he's challenging that one. I think it's more hope than anything. And you know what? He's got to be disappointed. 15-30, second serve.
Yep.
He's got Querrey reeling and can't get the return back in court unless the ball's good. And it is just out. Well, Querrey's electing to take some chances. He's come in 31 times in this match.
Mr. Kim has 2 challenges.
20 of 30, make that 21 of 32 for the man originally out of Thousand Oaks. Well, I should say he was born in San Francisco, but grew up through most of his career in Thousand Oaks. And with that one, he's drawn level, 1 game apiece. So it's a David versus Goliath. Kevin Kim 5'11", 165. Taking on Sam Querrey, 6'6", 200. And right now, well, David's holding his own.
Yeah, he certainly is.
Wow, that ball looked like it cleared by 5-6 feet.
I think that's a bit of a...
You don't think?
5 or 6 feet?
Sure, that was well over. That was just the motion that set off the machine. Of the speed of that serve, 126 miles per hour.
You can't believe it anyway.
Well, sometimes it does misfire.
Sometimes it does. Oh, yeah, that's very true.
Oh!
That's got to be a challenge. No?
Well, he's not going to. Such a late call. So a few things working against Kim this game. Just missed the ball barely on the baseline.
That was worth a challenge for mine at 1 all.
Wow.
15 all. It's 15-30. If he loses this point, he go down a service break. It was worth a challenge.
Sloppy. Didn't get the feet out of the way. We've seen that happen to him on a couple of occasions.
No, I think he's very lethargic today. He's not as impressive, not anywhere near as impressive today as he was in his opening round match. For mine, anyway.
That's sweet. Only the 5th ace for Kim, but I'll tell you what, a lot of these games when he's had to serve at 30 all, he's come up with the goods. And even though he's been struggling, well, he's gotten out of some trouble with some big serving and finds himself at game point.
He hesitated, he thought it was going, then he had to check his stance and get himself in position, but it was long, so.
Couldn't buy the stallies, they cost too much money.
Well, I coached Jim Grab for quite some time when I was out at the Racket Club Ranch out in Tucson, Arizona, when he was 10 years old. And so he's a good friend and a very nice young man. Back to this one though, and Sam Querrey's problems. Jim Grab was nearly about as tall as Sam Querrey as well.
6'6".
Yeah. But I'm very impressed with the way Michael Kim has hung in there so far. He could go away. He's not expected to do this. He hasn't played at this level very much at all. And he's giving the man Sam Querrey, who's the form horse coming in here, he's got an opportunity to double his money. Doesn't matter what he does here because he won the US Open Series. And Kevin Kim is trying to stop that.
Well, just to repeat, Kevin Kim, in reaching the 2nd round here, ended a 7 first-round loss streak at the majors. You know, and second round of a slam for the first time since 2006.
Well, if he beats Sam Querrey, he's going to save the USTA a lot of money.
That's right.
Because they pay out the
U.S. Open Series money, bonus money.
Well, with 40 lava, you probably didn't expect to get back and do much in that game anyway. But this is a slap. And he had an open court, tried to play a back-spinning drop shot. That would have been something to see. 2-all.
USOpen.org is your premier source for multimedia coverage on the U.S. Open, including exclusive match highlights and behind-the-scenes coverage throughout the tournament. Gotta love that way. The point was constructed, moving him side to side. It looks to me like Kim is getting more and more confident, and Querrey's actually lost a bit of confidence.
No, I agree. But, you know, that's what happens. And you mentioned after the second set, it's a different look for Sam Querrey now because he is the favourite, expected to go in here, and he's got his back against the wall right now. He's going to have to show us what he's got to get out of here, and he should be able to get out of this match. But Kim is taking it to him. I'm impressed.
Sweet. Kim seemingly getting more and more confident, playing within himself. It's almost like he's not worried about Sam Querrey anymore. That whole aura of playing the 22nd best player in the world, at least at this point in time,
goes away when you're all even with him, isn't it?
So what an easy service game for Kim. He's rushing over to the sidelines.
As I said, he's got to show us something. Got to dig deep. Try and get out of this one.
That the 11th ace for Querrey. And one thing that Kim has been doing very well, he's been getting a lot of serves back in play, at least to get into the points. That's long. So an easy service hold. We're all tied at 3-all. Can't get much closer than this. An hour and 55 minutes on the court, and we're all square. In terms of points won, well, Querrey's won 3 more than Kim to this point. He's got to be careful.
15, 13.
Certainly the emotion has come down a bit. It's important for Kim to stay on top of Querrey while Querrey's sort of fighting himself. You don't want to let Querrey believe.
7th game of the set, and it's a set apiece. 7th game, off time's a turning point in any set. Hit quite a few today.
Well, he's just lost his confidence. And every time they seem to get in a long, protracted exchange, it's Querrey that comes up with the unforced error. He's now made 39 in this match. That's just too many. Kim not getting to that ball, but good depth.
He got a little lucky with it, Querrey, because his feet were all over the place. He really tripped over himself to get out there to hit it.
And this is another one of those very pivotal breakpoint opportunities. Remember, there were no breaks by either man in the second set, just the 3 breaks in the opening set. Look for Querrey once again to try to run around this second ball and maybe hit an inside-out forehand. That's what he likes to do. Well, he put the ball back in the court.
Yep, and a couple of slice backhands. That slice backhand, Kim, that's one of the worst shots he's played. He's normally been able to come over that backhand. This one he dumped into the net, in the bottom of the net actually, on game point. So things tightening up.
So Querrey with the break. First break for either man since the opening set. Let's see if he can consolidate. And he was really negative a couple games ago. So look how differently that can go away, that can change with just that one break. Again, Kim getting burned by hitting the ball too short.
39.
Ace number 12. So Querrey doing really nicely after getting the break. Certainly that's restored some of the confidence that he's been lacking. And now just 1 point away from a 5-3 advantage. So Querrey trying to pump himself up. You've said you felt he's been a little bit lethargic or listless today, and that was a good sign. So now Querrey with the break, and again a few points away from taking a 2-set-to-1 advantage.
Yeah, he'd like to win this game also if possible, so that he would have the advantage of serving first in the 4th set. I always like to feel that that's something that you strive for when matches are tight. It's always good to serve first in that set, so you keep yourself in front if you're serving well, and you can have a crack at your opponent's serve if you get the opportunity.
And particularly when your serve's as good as Querrey,
Yep.
and you go up 2-1, you're playing against the guy who's thinking, now not only am I down 2-1, but I got to keep holding my own serve.
Yeah, well, his forehand's gone off
Yeah.
the last couple of games.
Barely made that one. Boy, that was close. But he's playing from behind now. $15-30. Franklin Johnson sitting in the crowd behind Sam Querrey, former president of the USTA.
Good man. Oh, that was well done.
That reminded me of you, Fiery.
I couldn't bend down that low. Yeah, there's a little slice again in this, and a nice touch. See the racket head going through. Look, it doesn't come up, it comes up towards the height of the net. A lot of players that make the mistake on that one when they drop the head of the racket and it hits the court. That pops the ball up in the air. Yeah, big serve.
And that popped right through the court.
No challenge though.
Well, if it's good, then Querrey will have to serve it out. I think it was good. Let's see on the chase review. Oh yes, spot on.
Yep.
As I steal a quote from Robbie Koenig. Meanwhile, Kevin Kim does what he has to. He holds serve. The pressure on the shoulders of Querrey to have to serve this one out. So not only will he be serving for the set, but he'll be doing so with new balls. Pulled the trigger at the right moment. Querrey really working to hit forehands that point. You can see the whole right side of the court open. But Querrey gets exactly what he wants. And the problem for Kim is he's only been able to win 3 points on the Querrey serve in this third set. Well, he just very lucky.
Let go over.
Yeah, it was very lucky. Could have closed in much closer to the net.
I thought it hit him in the head. What's this? This forehand, he comes in. Oh yeah, he did. Oh, hit the top of the tape. That's what started. Hit the tape and went over.
Well, that caught a little piece of rear end there.
strongest rally of the match so far. And a gutsy effort from Kim to finish it off. Creates an angle, and it didn't appear to be. Well, it got up high enough for him to snap the wrist over the top of it. Look where he gets here. It's inside the service box. Great angle.
Yeah, can he do it again now with a 15-30 advantage? And as you said, the longest point of this match. Querrey had come into this game only losing 3 points this set on his serve. Well, again, I think just too tentative for Kim.
Yeah, I agree with you exactly. When you get to this point, this level of play, you have to go out and win it. This fella's not going. He's missed forehands, but he's good enough to be able to hit those ones. When you take a little bit of pace off, that's what happens at times. Sometimes you just take 10% off it, and it's enough for your opponent to do what he has to do. And now Querrey's done what he has to do to get to set point.
14th ace. So he was given a little bit of a lifeline there at 15-30. He made the most of it. Set point. Kim is fighting, but he played that point very aggressively. And when he's taken it to Querrey, he's been successful. Querrey's only dropped 6 points on serve in this set, but 3 in this game. So Kim is making Querrey work. Querrey normally comes up with big serves at this juncture.
Well, he did so on set point in the second set too, didn't he? But he's a little bit more wary of what's going on here at the moment.
So he does it. It wasn't easy. Kim had 15-30, had a couple short balls, but played tentatively. And when you hesitate and you play tentatively in tennis against better players, you typically lose. Querrey with a 2-set-to-1 advantage.
Yeah, he did a good job. He hung in there. He's got to go mix it up and go back to the backhand a little bit, but I don't think you can tell him too much at all. I think he's played a good match, and it's been very close.
Do you tell him to stay pretty much with what he's been doing, but remember to stay aggressive-minded?
Well, exactly. He's got to be. He can't. And again, we've talked about that. You can't go there and be defensive and win matches today. You've got to win them. There's no freebies. There's no free lunches out there anymore.
This would be a huge advantage if Querrey could get an early break. You get the sense that there wouldn't be much Kim could do to come back, because Querrey would get so much more confidence and continue to roll from what he did in the previous set.
Well, he hasn't shown us that yet today, Querrey. He hasn't shown us the confidence that he should have in a match like this. He's struggled in that department today. As I said, he's looked pretty lethargic. I think he was more impressive in round one.
That's kind of attacking. Needs to be able to do that consistently throughout this fourth set. Because Querrey's giving him opportunities to do so. Because Querrey's just fighting himself. Well done. Didn't do enough with the overhead, but was ready for the reply. Kim, 1-love.
First game, fourth.
Well, you know, Fred, there haven't been too many major upsets, at least from the men's side of things, as we look at the stats from the third set today. But one match that has stood out, to me anyway, Jesse Witten, a guy who came through the qualifying, 26 years old, out of Florida. You may be familiar with him. Defeated Igor Andreev in the first round. Andreev was the 29th seed.
Yeah.
And then he pulled off the win over Massimo Gonzalez from Argentina in 4 sets today. So out of nowhere, you got a guy coming through that you haven't heard too much about.
Well, that happens in Grand Slams, depending. I believe that the qualifiers, when they come through qualifying, they play 3 matches to get into the main draw, and when they get there, if they've got a good draw, they can come through. Andreev at 29, he's had a mixed bag this season.
51.
But it's a good effort. It's a good effort, and that'll certainly throw his ranking up somewhat. Not so many upsets in the men's. We've had a lot of tough matches in the women's. There's been lots of articles written in the newspapers here in New York about the serves. None of the women seem to be able to serve. They all got double faultitis. Everybody's serving, you know. Safina today, 16 double faults in a match, and is really struggling mentally. And most of the top women, apart from the Williams sisters, are throwing in extraordinary numbers.
Well, I wouldn't even count both of them. I think Venus, to me, is very suspect on serve. I would say Serena is by far the standout server in that game, and that's why she's the dominant player. I mean, under pressure, that serve holds up. And she keeps it pretty simple. You know, I'm sure if you saw Serena throw a ball, she'd throw it a lot better than a lot of the other women.
That one he hooked out of his hip pocket, and he needed to. This is a pretty good volley from Kim. It got behind him, and just with a flick of the wrist, he gets it up, and it got to be about 6 feet, 8 feet over the net, and Kim couldn't reach it.
Oh, a huge point.
Yeah, a huge point, that point. Yeah, well, this is where Sam Querrey's got to be a little careful. He leads 2 sets to 1, but Kim serving first in this set.
Two unforced errors now off the racket by Querrey. And if you subtract the 13 aces, well, only 27 winning shots. Not good. Just to end that thought, you were talking about the women and their service troubles. Look at poor Anna Ivanovic. A few years ago, served pretty well.
Yeah, again a double fault there when things are pretty tight. So
third of the match.
Oh, he didn't do anything with it. That you talk about being defensive. He was all over that one like a rash. Kim. This one here has all the time in the world, and Kim picks it, anticipates the one down the line, and look how high it was. That was a gift. That was good work from Kim.
Too good. Well, each time Querrey has gotten a little bit of trouble, he's really used that deuce side to get him out of trouble with that nice wide serve. He's been pretty consistent with that all day. And that's the 14th ace. So a little bit of a scare.
Yeah. Holds. It's 1-all now.
1 game all. Fourth set.
Kim serving under 49% first serves in this match. So when he gets it in, he's done well. The problem is just not enough first serves.
15 more.
Smart shot right down the middle. So an easy service game hold there by Kim.
But I don't know what the answer is. You go through, you remember Gabriela Sabatini with her second serve problems. Anna Kournikova, I think at one stage 25 or 30 aces in one match when she played. She didn't win a singles title. Was very good in doubles and so forth. But I don't know what the answer is. All I do know is in the women's game that the players that are there, like Zafina and Jankovic and Ivanovic, they're going to have to step it up a notch if they want to stay there, because there are so many youngsters. There's about 6 or 8 youngsters that are all there knocking on the door, and I think they're going to leave them in the shade. Well, what a shot that was from Querrey. As he said, you've got to be careful here. Love 30. That drop shot never got it to the net.
Now if you're Kim, this is a great opportunity. Got to dig in here.
And that's a no-no. That's a love 30 second. This is wishful thinking. This second serve from way back there, and he's got love 30, and he misses it.
But this has become a pattern with him throughout this match today.
Yep. Didn't miss by much, but it missed.
Good players aren't going to give you those free points.
No, sure.
15-4.
And now he'll probably serve a huge one here. Just missed. Typically, we've seen Querrey come up with aces after that. Just amazing. The first couple points of the game, the guy sort of plays within himself, very calm. And as soon as he gets a sense that he can win the game, changes all of a sudden.
Well, that's the difference of being ranked 100 in the world and 22 in the world. I can watch matches like this, and you can't compare these matches to. That's 3 unforced errors, and he's let Querrey right back in it. But you can't compare these matches to when Federer plays, or when Djokovic, who we're going to see a little bit later today, play. All that sort of tennis is just it's a step above.
So Querrey gave him a few free ones, and he couldn't take advantage.
Yep.
And we're all square. And as far as Querrey's concerned, well, he's still not playing well, but he's still up 2 sets to 1.
2 sets to 1 and 2 all. Yep.
USOpen.org. Visiting USOpenshop.org is an easy way to purchase great US Open merchandise from the comfort of your home or office. For t-shirts, hats, towels, and more, convenient international shipping options are available. Visit USOpen.org.
Oh, what a pickup. And the ball that kept him in that is here. Kim comes into the net, plays the lob volley, but he doesn't play the highlight reel. He goes back, makes that one, and then has an opportunity. He gives himself a chance to stay in the point. You play the one through the legs, and it's a 1 in 100. Well played, Sam Querrey.
All right, I think Querrey's going to break him this game, Fred.
Hope you're right.
Not if Kim can serve like that.
59.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Instead of going for the hot dog play, played it sensibly. Now that shows you how important the first serve is in tennis. Game point for Kim. That was big. Got his feet in position. That's the shot he loves to hit on the second serve. He just hasn't had that much success with it today, trying to run around that backhand. Well, that's the problem with going cross court.
He sat there. Good defensive play.
So here's a breakpoint chance for Querrey. Just needed the one break serve in the third set. And for sure he's going to run around this one and try to rip a forehand if he can get any chance at all. It's too good.
That is good. He was under the pump on that one. He's down a break point. And he has to come up with 3 big forehands. Good defensive play. And there you can see he's pumped up. He's pretty ready. 3 big forehands he had to make there to win that point.
Wow. 105 miles per hour, but look how close up the box it was. Placement was perfect. Well done. Was in a spot of bother there, down a break point. It came up with, as you said, the big forehands and then the 2 big serves. Got him. Little cat and mouse.
Yeah, well played. This shows you the foot speed from Kim.
Another opportunity here for Kim. 15-30s, had a couple games love 30, but in these situations thus far in the match, Kim has had trouble being able to really generate anything. What kind of approach was that? Didn't do much. Didn't even come in close to the net with Querrey.
No, that was bad. Look where he hits this again from 4 or 5 yards behind the baseline. Big chance here now.
Shanked it. Rushed it.
Yeah, he was there, and as soon as he got there, he lifted straight up in the air.
So I think on a point like that, he would have been just as well off just going right at Querrey, because you want to test to see how good the guy's hands are, how he handles balls, and hit right at him.
Well, I think the good play would have been another little angle.
Sure.
Just to stretch him out and try and get the reflex volley.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's an easy shot, but you know, under pressure, he hasn't been coming up with the shot. So I'm thinking easy is just right up the middle of the court.
Well, nothing's easy here for Querrey now. He's come up with his 15th ace to save 2 break points, stop him from going down 4-2 here.
Well, Kim had his chance. He had that one golden opportunity at 1540, wasn't able to execute. Against the good players, you normally just get one or so chances.
Don't get many. Yep. Well, Sam Querrey's done a good job to get out of it, but
3 games all, fourth set.
with a little bit of help from his friend. 3-all.
Well, now it's very important for Kim to forget that last game, because most people will be thinking what should have been or what could have been.
Love 50.
It's amazing, these 3 out of 5 set matches, you really hit ebbs and flows. There's
Yeah.
lulls in the match.
Slight opportunity now for Querrey. See if he can build on it. 15:30. Good serve.
He's been very successful today. When he's gotten the first one in, he's won 53 of 67. Pretty good. The problem is only 49% for the match in terms of getting that first one in. Harry Hopman would have been too happy with the 49% first serves.
No, definitely not.
Pretty good. Number 9.
Well, I heard somebody call fault, but no, it's the umpire's called the score. That's the indicator. 4-3 now.
3-4 in the fourth with a 2-set-to-1 advantage. Querrey, this crowd is so subdued. Typically in New York, you have a match like this with two Americans pretty close.
Yeah, but there's nothing happening. It's not this. It's not exciting stuff, is it? As I mentioned, you know, if you had somebody like a Federer or Djokovic, the top guys playing in this thing, there'd be something going on. There'd be. I just feel that Sam today, Querrey today, has gone onto this match thinking he was going to win it, and I think he will, but in a very subdued manner, and I think it's been very lethargic. Kim is the man that's been the fellow that's been running around and been hungry to get into this match, and he should be, because it's an opportunity for him. He's 4-all now, 2 sets to 1 down, but serving with new balls. But he's the man that's been impressive for me.
When you play a match like this, is one of your goals as an underdog like him is to try to get your opponent to drop down to your level, rather than you thinking that you can actually take it above his level? Does that go into the thought process?
It might go into your thought process.
It does.
It does, yeah. Well, that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, I just think somehow you got to try to get the guy to, you know, when you have a chance.
Well, realistically, Kim goes into this match knowing he's the underdog, but thinks that if he plays well, he's got a chance. He knows he came through the juniors. He was a top junior. He knows that he can compete. Now, after the first set and half, that's where, and he got a little tight in the third set when he got to the situation where he thought, well, hey, I'm competing here. Maybe if I can get to 2 sets to 1, I might be able to get through here, sneak a win. But really, it's all up to the top man. It's all up to Querrey. It's his match to either win or lose. And if he doesn't apply himself and get himself motivated and ready to win, then the possibility is that he could lose. And only one person to blame is Sam Querrey.
Well, he's got a golden chance here. 2 more break points. He's had 1 this set already that was snuffed out. But this would be sweet, because this would give him an opportunity to serve for the match. Well, that was fun. He tried to bunt the forehand. Never. He doesn't hardly ever do that. Second break point chance for Querrey. Got it. Too defensive from Kim, too far behind the baseline, allowing Querrey to step in and hit his favorite shots. So on that point with that break, Sam Querrey now just 4 points away from advancing into the 3rd round. That was very dangerous, because Kim actually didn't hit that ball. He knocked it down, waited for the call, and now Querrey is challenging the out call. Well out. But a dangerous play there by Kim.
Well, I thought he was pretty confident. He didn't attempt to try and get it back into play. Well, I mentioned it's tough to put him away. As well as he has served in getting himself out of trouble, Querrey. That's that cross-court forehand you're talking about. He has not gone down the line once. Not attempted to go down the line once, so 30 all. Serve again out wide, finds the mark, opens up the court, and that time he was all over the forehand.
Match point.
Please.
It wasn't pretty. It was far from great, but in the end, it's a W.
Yeah, exactly. And that was expected, but it took a lot longer than expected. Just shy of 3 hours for the number 22 seed to get on top of a man that has not played a lot of Grand Slam tennis. It was a very, very good junior.